Hey, welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here in Rural Retreat, Virginia, and it is episode 1030 of the Garage Orloff show, so let's head on up and see what's going on in the upstairs area, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Oh, look at this. You know, there's all this talk about this Mpox that they're going to be bringing to us. So I got this just now at the Dollar General. So I figure if they say you got to wear a mask to go into a supermarket, I got this. So, what do you think? This should protect me from Mpox. Well, I better turn off the lights because Greta Thunberg would be upset with me leaving them on. I forgot how unpleasant these masks are from the last pandemic. Well, where is my, oh man, I don't know where the plug is for my phone. Well, here's what's going on. It's Sunday. Sunday morning. Welcome back to the wonderful comic book museum here, located on the third floor of the Hotel Orloff, Rural Retreat, Virginia. I was thinking yesterday because, well, I think all the time, but I was thinking about a particular thing yesterday, which was, well, I was doing a live stream with our friend Kevin Johnson, the owner and proprietor of Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona. Call him up for all your comic book and Monster Kid needs. He had a big stack of X-Men comics that he was going through and pricing to put out on the floor in his store. And I was looking at them and I was remembering some of them, and then I was remembering there was a time that I dearly loved the X-Men, and then it wasn't that I changed. I thought the comic book had changed a bit, and it wasn't as good, and I stopped buying it. And I think it was the mid-'80s. And maybe it was when... maybe Chris Claremont was still writing, but John Byrne left, and I just didn't like the change in artist. Or maybe it was because I was in college and I had other things going on in my life. I don't know. But at some point, I stopped reading it. So I thought, why don't I go through my X-Men box here and see exactly when it was that I got my first issues of the new X-Men and when I stopped buying it. Maybe it'll jog some wonderful nostalgic memories for all of us here. So that was my idea, my premise for today's show. Oh man, this light is bright in my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this reminds me of a song. Well, I see that there's a comic book award show for people on YouTube that do comic book oriented shows, that they give awards out for these people. And I heard Sticky Goose talking about it. And Sticky Goose is someone that pops up in my feed a lot. He's kind of become a troll of the comic book YouTube world. I'm not, don't really know if I feel one way or another about him, but he was apparently nominated for Best Comedic Performance of a comic book show. And there's like 4 or 5 people up for the award. And he was trying to get people to vote for him. And so I went and looked at the comic book awards list and people that were nominated. And I recognized a few people. Jerry the Jitterbug was nominated for one category as far as restoring and conserving comics. He's got a great channel. And Metarog was up for something. And I think Comic Collector Geek, I know him from Canada. He had 2 awards that he's up for, and most of the people, I just never heard of them. They're not in. I'm just not aware of them, and so it's no. I increasingly just don't want to even talk about comic books on my show, but I keep getting drugged back down into it. I love comic books, and I hate comic books. I love the comic books I grew up with. I love the history of the comic book art form. But I hate pretty much almost every comic book that's been made from the mid-'80s on, with some exceptions. It's just not my, it's not my scene. I don't like Venom or Carnage or Deadpool or Spawn or any of the stuff that a lot of you love. That's not my, it's not my wheelhouse, as they say. So I go to a comic book convention or a comic book store, and I'm just kind of annoyed more than anything. I'm not filled with joy. That's what Bill Clinton said, that Kamala Harris is bringing joy back. She's coming. That's what we want in the White House, is joy. Well, Robert Kennedy Jr. has come out and said he's going to step down in the key states where it's the most contentious, and he's endorsing Trump. And then Trump is probably going to put him in some major medical position, or it would be cool if he was Attorney General. But anyway, the other side, where they had their propaganda machine going really strong, it's like, yay, Kamala Harris is the second coming, and there were people believing it. Some non-playable characters were believing it. And then RFK Jr. comes out and endorses Trump the next day after their convention ends, and it's like, oh brother, they're scared now. They're really scared. There's some woman on Facebook. My wife was on her friend's page, and somebody, they were saying that Robert Kennedy Jr. is just a crackpot. He's just insane, clearly insane. He's insane, I tell you. And my wife was just laughing at them, and then this woman said, I hope you die in a fire, and I hope you get the beating you deserve. I guess die in a fire and then get beaten is what she suggested. So my wife was just telling me about this exchange she was having with somebody. Anyway, just the point is, it's getting brutal out there. They're getting scared. By the way, it's the Gratu Orloff Show. In case you want to nominate, no, it's too late to nominate me for a comic book award. I would never get a comic book award. This is not the type show. Oh man, this light is a little too bright, man. I'm sorry. Maybe I should put it not directly into my eyes. Now it's not directly in my eyes. I don't know. I've got a big pile of garbage on top of my X-Men box. Like this Captain America, Captain Hippie puppet that some actual hippie back in the 60s modified this, so it's a rare variant. just shift this. I've shown you this little jiggler before. Okay. What is all this stuff anyway? Oh, I see. No, oh well, I see what it is. Look, it's my 6th grade phone directory from my elementary school. School calendar, 1976 to 77. How about that? Urban Animal. Why do I have this? It's the size of a comic book. Why do I have this little magazine? Because when I adopted my pet cat Princess from the PetSmart, I got this magazine that very day. So I just always kept it. It has some sentimental value. See, July 2006. She got she went to the vet and they gave her a rabies vaccine, and she didn't need a rabies vaccine. She was an indoor cat and she died the next day. So have to talk to Robert Kennedy Jr. about that. Okay, here's the little button I got for the thing when I went to see this opening day at the Six Flags Mall Cinema. What would that be, about 1981? Is that when it was? Here's a little button promoting the new EC comics that were coming out, that are out now, that are apparently terrible from what I've seen. But it's a cool little button. You know what's for sale at Heritage right now? A pair of gold cufflinks that look like this, that say EC. And they belong to Wally Wood, the artist that, I'm sure if you're watching this show, you know who Wally Wood is. Anyway, they're Wally Wood's cufflinks given to him by William Gaines. William Gaines was a very generous and a really nice guy. And despite what some people on YouTube may tell you about William Gaines, he was a good guy. And he took care, he kept the original art because that way he could reprint it later. That's why all the Mad specials and Mad paperbacks, like this, always look so good because he was shooting from the original art. He kept the art, yes, but he paid well, and he took his whole staff on vacations to different parts of the globe every year. That's why people stayed with him for years, their whole careers, they stayed with him. What is this? Oh, it's a letter from, oh, I know what this is. Oh, it's a letter from a comic book dealer. Okay. What is, oh my gosh, what are all these discs? Got a bunch of recorded CDs, and there's no labels on them. Oh, I know what these are. No, I don't. They're episodes of Howard Stern. This one has the Underdog Lady, and it's from March 2003. Okay, now let's see what's in this box. Will it be the X-Men box? Possible. Oh, God. All right. pretty much only going to be doing shows now on the weekend, Saturdays, maybe Sundays. Thursday night, I like to do that live stream. Got going to be pretty busy from here on out for the foreseeable future. You can blame the economy, you can blame Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not responsible, because he doesn't run anything. He just is a puppet. And then some people say, well, it's really Obama that's controlling Biden, and that's not true either. Here, the more you know, the more you study, you know who's really behind everything, and you say, well, it's really BlackRock and Vanguard and what is it, State Street? Those are the people that run everything. Yes and no. They own almost everything. Now they're buying up all the houses, so everyone will be a renter forever. But in farmland, you say, well, it's really China running things. No, it's powers and principalities far above. I mean, this is a battle that we're engaged in, coming up November 5th. That is between God, Jesus Christ, and the dark side. Devil, Lucifer, Mephistopheles, whatever you want to call him. You can call me crazy, but I think we're in an existential battle. So the best thing to do is stock up, read your Bible, say your prayers, and read your comic books. Okay, so this is World's Finest number 213. Why don't I put some music on? It seems like the last time I put on music, there was some copyrighted tunes on this disc, and it caused me problems. Let's see if I can. I just can't look at comics without music playing.
For the finest violin tells the shout from Duncan Department.
Drugs and sundry, sir.
Kiss the vet. Kiss the vet.
Okay, well, what I did the last 5 years, I've been separating the good from the bad as far as the comics go. And I've been separating the Silver Age comics, which are back here, from the Bronze Age and up comics that are here. Now, looking back on it now, I would have put the early Bronze Age comics with the Silver Age comics, because that's my time period. But I made the decision to anything that was 15 cents and below goes over here. Anything 20 cents and above goes over here, as far as the original prices. So, anyway, so this would be my first Bronze Age World's Finest. Yikes. What the heck? Okay, sorry. There's another copy here that's beat all to heck, that's not bagged and boarded, which I didn't realize. Look at this ad for the first issue of The Demon here. Maybe I should move you guys over. So, September 1972, first month of second grade. These are not childhood copies. These are books I bought later. Because in 1972, I was mainly just into monster comics, horror stuff. Here's 215. Ooh, what a great cover this is. 217. Look at that. That's cool. So I have 2 copies of this. 218. Well, I didn't come here to look at World's Finest. Let me go past the World's Finest. Is X-Men even in this box? I've always loved this cover. This cover for Wyatt Earp, early 70s, 20 cent. But it's reprints. But isn't that a beautiful cover? Some people call the early 20 cent comics have the art in a little picture frame, like you see, with the colors surrounding it. Picture frame, window box. Some people call them either thing. Just gorgeous art. Beautiful, beautiful colors on this one. It's my only issue of Wyatt Earp. I wish I had other ones. Because, Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and strong. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. I'll tell you a story, a real true life story, a tale of the western frontier. The West, it was lawless, but one man was flawless. And this is the story you'll hear. Here's X Factor. This is an attempt to bring back the original X-Men. I don't have many X Factors. Bless me. And bless you, my child. Here's X Factor 2. And here's X Factor 4. And then here's X Factor 42. I don't have much of that run, it looks like. Oh, I came back for 99. Well, it looks like I got issue 108. That probably was a cover buy. I have X Factor Annual number 1. Looks like they're fighting against the Democrat Party there. X Factor 2. I don't know why I don't have more of it. Perhaps because I was in college and I had other things to do with my night. Oh, this is highly collectible. Look, it's X-Force 1 in the original polybag. The 90s were an ugly, ugly time for comics. That comic is probably completely worthless. Oh, this is X-Force 2. I think, last I remember, this is like a $15 comic. That could have changed. It's like the second or third appearance of Deadpool. Big deal. Well, I have 2 copies of that. Maybe I should sell one, but like I said, I don't think it's worth it. Here's X-Force 8. It looks like every comic that came out in the 1990s. I don't know. Oh, Rob Liefeld, yeah. This is an early Deadpool appearance. I don't know what it's worth. I don't care. Oh, man. I guess I've got another. I was telling people the other night on my show, I don't think I have more than 1 or 2 Deadpool comics in my collection. I guess I'm wrong. I guess I've got a few more. I don't know. I don't know if he's in this one. Who knows? Now, it was this crummy comic, you know, and then with issue 116, it turned into this, and I loved it. And all the normal comic book people were horrified. And they said, I can't believe you ruined X-Force. No, they made X-Force great. This was tremendous. And it was really gory, and it was funny, and it was, I liked that. So, you can get me back into the comic book world by bringing in some talented creators. Now, this is probably 20 years ago, but yeah, I started picking this up every month because I was always going into comic stores. Almost every week, I would be in a comic store checking to see if any new old comics got put in the rack, the back issues, any new Soul Rage comics. And I'd look at the racks to see if anything looked, and obviously this stands out. This doesn't look like that Liefeld stuff. I have 2 copies of that one. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. X-Force. That doubles of that one. Now,
I'm a native of this area, and I am definitely interested in making longtime friends of our customers.
I don't know if you want to see all these. I was really coming to look for X-Men. Let's get past X-Force. Then they changed it to X-Statics. I don't know, maybe X-Force went back to being what it was before. Don't get me wrong. Got a bunch of X-Statics. That was a fun comic. This is a parody comic. One-shot parody issue. But it's you don't see this book very often. And I wonder how many people bought this thinking it was a real X-Men comic. But inside, it's just an independent black and white parody comic. The Watcher is a girl in this. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel does that for real in this Fantastic Four movie coming out. I hear that Silver Surfer's been made into a female. And I heard that Penguin's now a girl. So this is making fun of a trend that wouldn't happen until many years later. Let's see, when did this come out? 1986. Then they have a big little editorial about parody. This is a tricky thing to actually put the real name. Is there a dash in X-Men normally? Yes, there is. All they did was take the dash away. Dash away all. Sorry. Developing Tourette's. I don't really recommend this, but it's a curiosity. You can use that. Traditionally, copyright law said, if you're doing a parody of something, you've got to change the name a little bit. So Superman, when Mad did the parody in the comic in the early 50s, it was Super Duper Man. And not Brandeck, they called him Stuperman. You couldn't just call him Superman. But now I think copyright has changed where you can actually use the name, but what you can't use are copyrighted symbols, not words, but symbols. And the rule has to be no that you wouldn't fool anyone. No educated person would buy this and think it's a real X-Men comic, because it doesn't say Marvel and all that. So they made some naughty movie parodies of Superman, Spider-Man. They were doing that for a while, and they would be called Superman and called it Spider-Man, but instead of the spider symbol, it was an X. Superman had the shield, but it had an X in it instead of the S. It's the symbol, the Superman shield crest, whatever you want to call it. That is what, you know, as long as you change that, you can pretty much do it. I don't know. It's weird how that stuff changed. Anyway, we're moving into X-Men. It is hot in here, man. This commercial's reminding me. Okay, so beginning of the Bronze Age. My earliest Bronze Age X-Men is this 20-cent. This is number 77, and it's a reprint of stuff from the 60s. Marvel kept X-Men going as a reprint title, just because they needed more titles out on the stand. They were doing a lot of reprints of old pre-code horror, reprints of old Silver Age comics. Marvel and DC were trying to outproduce each other and have more titles on the stand so they could crowd the other company out. And so they kept X-Men going, but I think Stan Lee must have always had a feeling that eventually X-Men would take off. But it hadn't taken off. The comics, I think the X-Men comics in the 60s were great. But this is another reprint of a 60s comic. Now we're up to X-Men 83. The first issue with the new X-Men with Wolverine and Colossus, all that, and some of the originals would be X-Men 94. After they had a giant-size X-Men issue where they introduced them. So we're real close to that. This is 92. But again, it's reprints. This is probably copywritten. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Leon Redbone. Probably, I don't know. Okay. I was talking about this last night, if you watched last night's show. 5th grade, Fifth grade was the 1975 to 76 school year. I had a friend named Roland Perry that also knew about comics. He was the only other person at that school, Clark Moore Elementary in Tacoma, Washington. It was an elementary school on the Army base there, which was Fort Monroe, right? Am I correct? We only lived there 1 year. But anyway, Roland Perry kept telling me, you gotta buy this new X-Men comic. And I said, yeah. I kind of blew him off. But he was right. And I didn't listen to him right away, because if I had, I would have picked up like the really valuable issues. But this is the first one that I got. X-Men 97. This is my childhood copy. And I want to see how long it took me to listen to him. February 76. Okay, so this actually came out around Christmas time of 75. So I must have listened to him, and this is there are only a few new X-Men comics before this. Later on, you would never see an issue that doesn't have Wolverine on the cover. But this was early on, and after a while, this new X-Men comic started to really catch on. And then people that owned the very first comic stores they would go to the distributor and they'd buy up hundreds and hundreds of copies of this and take them to their comic store or to their mail order distribution, and that's what they would do. It became a comic that everyone knew you had to get. It was one of those must-get comics. And then this was also a childhood copy, issue 99. I guess I did listen to him a little bit. I got some of these issues. But if I'd listened to him earlier, I would have had like 94, 95, I think. That's what he was telling me right at the beginning of the school year. Here's issue 100. See, they got Wolverine way in the back instead of right up front and center. Okay, the next issue was 101, and I should have been on the ball. If I had listened to Roland Perry, I would have gotten it. Instead, I've got this fake one. This is not the real 101. It's a facsimile. That's why it's $4. Yeah. I don't have 102. This one I didn't get when I was a kid. I bought this later. This is 103. Yeah, you don't see Wolverine on the cover of that one either. Huh. And then between 103, which I have 103, and I don't have another one until 111. And by that point, I was living in Texas. And why did I stop buying them? I think that I don't know. But this is my childhood copy. And from this point on, I was going to say from this point on, I missed 112. Here's 113. Some of this music might be copywritten. It seems like that Zappy last time. This is, yikes, yikes. Last time I had this disc playing, there was one. Those were library. That was library music that you hear in different movies and cartoons. But that was all stuff that was used in the 1966 Marvel Superheroes cartoon, and those cartoons, you know them. And there were one or two pieces that came back when I did my show, and I transferred it to YouTube. A couple of them had copyright tags on them, so you could just leave it the way it is, but you could never monetize that show, which really doesn't mean anything, because will I ever get to 1,000 subscribers? The answer is no. But if I did, I could never monetize that episode. So you have an option where you could trim that episode, that part of the music out of your show, or now they give you an ability to mute the music while still hearing your voice. But anyway, if there's some silence and you see my lips moving later on, it's because I chose to zap that music out. but that will prevent my narrative of how I discovered the new X-Men from being complete. So that's why I skip past that music. Normally it would be really cool to listen to that music while we're looking at these comics. Where was I? So, I guess I could probably at some point try to get the issues between 103 and 111. I've got them all reprinted, right? I've read all of them in a different format, but okay. So 113. Here's 114. Maybe it's from this point on that I was buying it. At this point, I was living in Arlington, Texas. 115. By this point, Wolverine's become a star, and he's right front and center of the cover. And at this point, you got John Byrne drawing it, and this was a great time period. John Byrne was a great artist, and you've got Chris Claremont writing it, and it was a great team. Later, John Byrne would leave X-Men, and he would write his own comics and draw them, and I just don't think he was as good at. I think he needed to have another person writing. It's just, I don't like his take on the She-Hulk or Fantastic Four. He made some big blunders with that, and I thought, hey, what's up? It's all right.
So I'm okay
Yeah.
as far as how I'm feeling, or I'm not too tired or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I got really sick.
Uh-oh.
And so I talked to the boss I'm really cool with.
Yeah.
And I told him if I feel better later, I'll come back on.
Okay.
Or I'll just pick it up tomorrow. And he was totally cool.
Okay. So you might work later in the afternoon?
If I get better.
Okay, all right. All right.
But I can't do this right now. And if not, I will work tomorrow. And he was totally cool about it. I
Right.
explained it to him, and he's like, understandable, I support you, do what you think is best.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Okay.
So,
So I'm just letting you know that I'm available and that I'm
well,
fine.
if you work tomorrow, if those people come, you'd be able to take off for a few minutes to talk to them.
Especially if he's working, I'll write him a note.
Okay.
I don't care if he's working. I'll log out.
Yeah, I mean,
I would technically be working on my day off, and I wouldn't really be stuck. So
Okay.
It's gonna be fine.
all right. Okay.
Sorry about the
Sounds,
drink.
no, that's okay. That's okay.
But, I'm okay about being told to die in a fire and all that stuff. I feel great, actually, about all that.
I told them about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can even hear what you're saying.
I'm so glad that, I stood up to her,
Yeah.
or else I'd be pissed.
I mean, that's not what made you sick, is it?
No, not at all. It's my guts. It's bad.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, I'm not going to be here too long.
Okay. It
All
doesn't
right.
matter. It's okay.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you guys too.
She says she loves you guys. She called off. She's supposed to work. She does a job from home. She called her boss or texted him and said she's not feeling well. Her stomach's out of order. She's trying to get better. I've been doing this fundraiser, and I'll put a link down below the title of this show for that fundraiser if you want to click on it and help out. She's been a lot of times she's not feeling well enough that she can do the job, so we're getting behind financially, but now I'm working 2 jobs, so it should help. But for right now, things are rough. If you want to help, great, or just say a prayer. I mean, she's not as bad as she was a little while ago, thanks to well your prayers, whatever. Yeah, she's got different stuff going on. Here's X-Men 119. I'm just curious which X-Men's I have, because, like Kevin was showing all this stack of X-Men comics, and it's like, I think I have all those. Oh, it looks like I missed issue 120. I wonder if issue 120 is an expensive one. These I put into My Lights probably in the 80s when My Lights were first invented. Back then they didn't even have comic book boards, but this is how I put them together. And the My Lights held up after many decades. This is My Lights from back then. I guess I need to get boards and put them in with it. But anyway, I missed 120. Man, and I missed 122, but I remember getting this one at the 7-Eleven. 123, the pinball issue. Why did I miss every other issue here? What is going on? Did I miss a bunch? Because that was 123. Now I'm at 127. I thought I had more of a complete run. And then I'm missing 128. It almost looks like somebody was... No, it couldn't be. I start getting paranoid. Someone's stealing my X-Men. 129. Oh, and I got a reprint of 129 from last year that's, it's a facsimile. Oh, I like to compare them. You can see the difference. This is an original comic. The blue background's a little bit different. And they have more space at the top in these reprints. And let's see.
Manischewitz Wine Company, New York, New York.
It looks like you have it shows a little bit more of the artwork on the reprint, although I don't know if that's actual artwork or that may have been drawn by some artist today just to fill in the space, because I think in the original artwork they have the block where they're going to put the UPC code and the artist draws around it. You can see the colors are off. Colors aren't exact. And that's not because my comic is faded. This comic is not faded, I guarantee you. 129. I've gone through these X-Men comics before, but it's been a while. And here's 130. The dynamic debut of the Dazzler. I think they reprinted this issue recently. There's been a 1979. This character was introduced, as I recall. Maybe it was in pre-publicity. They called her the Disco Dazzler. I don't remember if they called her the Disco Dazzler in the book here. They changed that real quick to the Dazzler because by 1979, people were starting to get violently angry about disco. And on the desks at school, kids were carving into the desk, "Disco sucks." Then Van Halen, Rush. What else did they carve in? Rush. Van Halen. And then this friend of mine that would later go on to be in heavy metal bands. He was the first guy in the school that knew about Motorhead. He'd write Motorhead everywhere, promoting that band. Okay, so this is the White Queen. This gives it a context in pop culture history when the Star Trek movie came out, which was Christmas of 78, right? When Star Trek the motion picture came out. I am almost positive. Yeah. Okay. From this point on, I should have every issue for a while. Here's another 131. I don't know why I have two 131s. But it gives you a little bit of, just in case, I like to try to educate on the show. I like to pretend there are people watching that aren't comic book experts. So I'm not talking down to those of you that know what I'm about to show you, but I'm simply showing in case at some point in the future, if YouTube stays up and isn't, you know. Okay, if you bought a comic book at a regular store, it would look like this. If you bought it at 7-Eleven or a bookstore, 40 cents with the box is 40 cents and the UPC code. But if you bought it at a comic book store, it would look like this. This is a direct distributed comic, which means that it was non-returnable. The store that bought it was stuck with it if it didn't sell. But X-Men sold, so they had a Spider-Man head because no comic book stores had wands to read the UPC code. Now apparently there's some that do. I always thought, but apparently, you know, Charlton 66 tells me the story. He frequents, actually uses a scanner. Well, that means they're big time. And 132, yeah. This point, X-Men was winning awards, Eagle Awards, and I remember the Hellfire Club storyline. Hellfire Club was a real organization. Benjamin Franklin was a member. This 133, I think they did a facsimile of this recently because this is a very, you know, I think people that like to buy comics, not to read them, but to put them on the wall like this cover. I think this is maybe the issue I was talking about last night where Wolverine's slashing out, not realizing that they're robots. It's been 40 years since I've read this, so if I get the storyline wrong, forgive me, but the rest of the X-Men are kind of scandalized. It's like, he didn't know if that was a person or a robot, and he was just cutting into them. They couldn't believe it. Of course, you watch these movies now with this one that just came out, Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a piece of garbage. Don't watch it. Wolverine's just slashing and stabbing people repeatedly. It's just not... That's not the character I read in these books. Here's 134. I don't know. Maybe that's the way he is now in the comics, but that's not my world. My world exists in the past. I like the past. I'm not one of these communists that say I'm unburdened by the past. I've forgotten the past. I don't tear down statues. I honor the past. I respect the past. I'm a museum curator. This is 136. This is a famous cover. One of those covers with the hero holding the body of, you know, there's one like this of Crisis on Infinite Earths with Superman and Supergirl, and it's been done a lot in different. There's even one with Mighty Mouse, but it's based on a sculpture by Michelangelo or something. I don't know. Not the turtle. It's the sculptor. 136. Here's 137. Special double issue. Oh, I'm getting a message here from Kevin saying, "Are you going live?" I think I did have an episode scheduled to go live this afternoon, but I got delayed because my wife was not feeling well. And I was going to do this can show and then do a live show after it. And I was trying to get it all done before David Wilcock comes on here in a little bit. 138. I'll answer him when yeah, this was kind of disgusting when they had these ads at the top of the cover. It was really kind of not good. Sounds like Kamala Harris drinking. Here's 139. Welcome to the X-Men Kitty Pride. 139. 140, we're up to 1980 now, so I would have been 15 years old at this point. Ooh, this is that famous storyline that was made into a movie, Days of Future Past. That was a good movie, too. That was a good movie. That was a great movie. That movie was wonderful, in fact. This, trust me, Deadpool versus Wolverine is... I'd almost say it's like Battle for the Planet of the Apes compared to the original Planet of the Apes, but that would be insulting Battle for the Planet of the Apes. 142. No, it's... Remember how great Airplane was? And then Airplane 2, the sequel, was so bad and unfunny because it was made by different people. Maybe it's like, no, it's worse than that. 143. It's phenomenal how bad it is, and yet people love it. I have another copy of 143. I've got newsstand and whatever. Direct. 144. I'm mainly looking at these just to try to remember. And there's another 144. I'm trying to remember when I stopped buying them. Here's 145. Everybody's going crazy for Dr. Doom covers right now. So the speculators. Here's 146. Oh, I missed an issue. I missed 147. Here I am back for 148. I'll rewatch this episode with my phone on mycomicshop.com, and I'll look at the covers of the ones I'm missing and see, what are they charging for those? Not that I have money to buy them now. 148. Another 148. Here's 149. We're in 81 now. So I'm in high school. Well, I got 2 copies of that. Not sure why. Okay, I'm missing 150. Here's 151. Kevin had this one last night. He was pricing 151, and then I don't come back till 158. I can see the artwork is not as good now. Someone else is doing it. 160. That may be what starts disenchanting me. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this artwork is not as good as what we were seeing before with John Byrne. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not... Megaforce was a terrible movie, too. I never saw it. Everyone told me it was terrible. 162. Yeah, this was the end of comic books when they started to have ads for video games in them because they were advertising their replacement. It's like, yeah, I remember this is about the time I stopped buying X-Men when they had these Alien these obviously an attempt to rip off the movie Alien, and I remember that stuff. And then I kind of, well, here I am still around for 164. 164. I think this comic had a little value for a little while. I don't know why. 168. That artwork's not bad. I don't know, man. 169. I guess I'm still buying it. Okay, still Star Wars. That's what video games used to look like. 170. That's an ugly, ugly cover. 171. I guess this is Rogue joining. Oh my gosh. Let's look at this box. You're kidding. What? What was the last issue I just showed you? Can't answer me, can you? That was 171. Then I'm gone for a long time. I come back for issue 242. That's crazy. This is 244. I think this is the first Jubilee. 245. In the 90s, there was a Saturday morning X-Men cartoon, which I was watching because I always loved X-Men. It's just the comic had gotten bad, and the cartoon was really good. And I think that caused me to go back and buy issues of X-Men again. That may be why it picks up here. What's that? There's 256. People that have to have the entire run of a comic, man, I feel sorry for those people. Here's 258. Right. 260. 261. What is this? 262. Another copy of 262. Oh, don't ask me why. 267. Ooh. It's like almost good, but then you look at it again and like your face is really not good, and it's like, oh well, it's like almost good, but it looks like it's drawn by a really good, talented high school student. No offense if that's your favorite artist. 268. This one had a little value for about 5 seconds, I think. I don't know. Maybe it still does. Rogue versus the original Ms. Marvel. What? Why is Ms. Marvel a corpse? I don't think I ever read this issue. Okay, here's one that's not bagged and boarded, that's in terrible, terrible condition, in fact. This is not one, this must have been one I just got out of a dollar bin. It's not the condition that I would keep a comic in. It's got a fold going across. And yeah, this was right straight out of a dollar bin. So, but since it's not bagged and boarded, we can look inside and see what it looked like at this time period. This, my first impression, this looks like a British artist. This looks kind of like 2000 AD art. I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying it looks British. There's just sometimes the artwork's not really that bad. But when did this come out, and what is it? Who is the artist? They don't have the artist listed. Maybe they at this point they were slick and put the artist at the back. So, this is okay. Weird. Where do they give people credit? Oh, the artist names are on pieces of paper scattered here. Chris Claremont's writing it. Oh, pencils Jim Lee, ink Scott Williams. Well, Jim Lee. Okay, Jim Lee. Jim Lee is not an artist I hate. So it looks like he was doing good on this. This comic's trashed, but okay, so. Yeah, I must have been buying these because the art looked better. Jim Lee. And then he later worked on Batman at some point. And then Jim Lee's gone, and this is 281. This is a 283. This is an early appearance of Bishop. I don't think it's the first Bishop. I don't know. I got 2 copies of that. Hopefully it's a very valuable issue. I don't know. This one almost looks like it's an introduction. His name is Bishop, but this is after that other issue, so I don't know, man. Wait a second. I've got 3 copies of that 281. No, wait. I take it back. These are out of order. This is 282. Is this the first Bishop, guys? 282. And then I've got 3 copies of this one. Okay, then I disappear until 301. Oh, I see why I don't like this. 302. I love John Romita, but this is John Romita Jr. I don't... Yeah, you know... I love Frank Sinatra, but, you know, Frank Sinatra Jr. is just not Frank Sinatra. John Romita Jr., I don't know about that, man. Ugh. I don't know. 306.
A light beard always leaves room for one more.
That looks very British. 306. 309. But yeah, see, this isn't the style of art I like. 310. 313. At this point, there were 2. There was the Uncanny X-Men, and there was another comic just called X-Men. And then there were all these other titles. Okay, what's going on here? 318. That could be the end. No. Here's 319. This cover's pretty good. Who's the artist on that? Looks like Stein. Sorry, I'm not a comic book expert. I've got 2 copies of it. I must have liked that cover. 320. Ooh, here's one unbagged. 321. Oh, it's got like some cards inside. Before you read this issue, you must read Cable 20. I don't like that. You stick to the story in your own title. 20. Okay. Yeesh. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with the deluxe. I think there were 2 different versions or something. I don't know what that was about. That's oh, at this point they make it real confusing. To see the number, you got to go down here. And no, this way. 322. See that there? That's really annoying. It should be up here. That was a stupid move from Marvel. We're up to July 2001, and I don't even. Oh, the issue's 394. It's hard to read. I don't like this whole thing with Wolverine and Jean Grey. That was another mistake. 423 is only 25 cents. This is the bad first Hulk movie. And that's it. Of course, they have these annuals. Here's X-Men Annual 3. Four. 5. I was buying these annuals when I was enjoying the comic. I've got a couple of copies of this. One's bagged, one isn't. Bill Sienkiewicz, penciler, Bob Wyacek, inker, Chris Claremont writing. Here's 7 after the Popeye game. I guess I should bag and board these, but that would require money. Here's number 8. Here's a number 8 that's bagged and boarded. Wait, what is this? Wait, here's a 334 out of order. Ooh, that is so 90s it hurts. These are just not in order. And here's 453. I guess I should put these in order. What is that, 453? Okay. Wonder how long this comic went before they rebooted it. 334. I'm glad I was born at just the right time, because there are people that are nostalgic for the 90s X-Men, and that would be really awful. In my humble opinion. Okay. Okay, is that it? What is this garbage? Here's Annual 17 from 93. Ugh, not a good year. Imagine in 93, I was 2 years shy of 30 years old. I'd been out of high school 10 years. Can I show you this one? Annual 11. And then I have giant size X-Men number 2. Not the one that you need. The giant size X-Men that introduced the new X-Men was not issue 2. So this one doesn't have much value, being reprints of 60s X-Men, but the one that has the value is the one that's reprinted in this.
But Hires root beer pays more because it's this exclusive blend of great ingredients that makes the Hires taste great. Get out of the rut. Get back to taste. Get back.
That's the one to have. It's probably the one that my friend Roland Perry was trying to get me to buy. Giant size X-Men number 1 was the one to get. How about that?
Thanks a lot. Pleased to meet you. But just I understand.
Yeah, there's official Marvel guide to X-Men.
When you take somebody's hand,
Then Here's X-Men at the State Fair of Texas. This was inserted into the Sunday newspaper, Dallas Times Herald. I got a couple of them because I lived in Dallas, near Dallas. This came out years later, just not long before the pandemic. You can see it on YouTube. He caught fire. The big Tex, the big giant cowboy at the State Fair of Texas, caught fire and burned while horrified fairgoers watched him burn, and it was actually pretty funny. But he had been a giant Santa Claus that was advertising, Christmas stuff at some department store, and the State Fair of Texas bought the giant skeleton and converted him into a cowboy, and he would move as his lips would move, and I think he would wave and say, "Howdy, folks, welcome to the great State Fair of Texas." And then there was a guy hidden in a booth right across from Big Tex, and he would do the voice of Big Tex. His name was Jim Lowe, and he was also a DJ at a local station. And there was one time in band camp. One time Jim Lowe tells the story about in the early 50s, late 40s, when The Shadow was still on radio as a network show. And The Shadow would always start, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows." And then he would go into a maniacal laugh. He recorded his Big Tex message, and then he left it going, recording actually what was off the air, and it went into recording the opening of The Shadow. So Big Tex started, the weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. Then started laughing, which is fine. It probably scared some of the pickpockets at the fair. Here's the X-Men comic that I didn't get because I didn't listen to Roland Perry.
The Journeyman for Schlicks with the
I have no idea what happened to Roland Perry. Left. Hey, what's up?
I just wanted to tell you not to rush with ending your show.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling really bad. I'm feeling really sweaty and everything.
Well, I need to hang out with you.
But what I'm trying to tell you is I might have to just go to sleep because I feel so bad.
Okay.
So I don't want you to rush off your show and then I'm just asleep.
Well, I was going to go watch David Wilcock. I was going to watch it with you, but if you're asleep, I'll watch it.
If I can make it, I'll watch it, but I'm feeling really bad.
Well, I'll check with you first to see.
I want those. I want my erasers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was keeping them in the package. Do you want to take them out of the package?
No, I want to keep them like that. I'll put them on my desk.
Okay, I think the best thing would be to thumbtack them to a wall as a display item, don't you think?
In my future office, they're going to ironically go with all of my Dylan Lewis Monroe posters.
Okay, this is her thing. It wound up in here, even though it's not mine. So, yeah, I was aware it was yours. I was going to give it to you. Here. I didn't mean to absorb it into my port.
I can't believe this crap I'm feeling. I have to go lay down. I'm losing.
Yeah, maybe it was the Jamaican food we had yesterday. We're not used to eating Jamaican food. We're used to eating Midwest food.
I have no idea. My suspicion is that I'm so thirsty and I'm drinking so much liquid. I don't even
Also, that milk straight out of a cow's udder. She's been drinking raw milk by the cow.
Yeah, so everyone's going to think that's totally it. But I had more yesterday and I was fine. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta go.
All right, cool. I'll be around in a second. Oh man. Here's some. This is something I wasn't even aware of. This X-Men that's drawn by Neil Adams in his later years. And you think, wow, that must be great. But he also did some Batman stuff in his later years that, it's Neil Adams, but it was, I think that Batman stuff, they let Neil Adams write it. And he's a great artist, but as a writer, so I don't think anyone cares about this book. I don't know. But here's something. Once you get past all those X-Men spin-off titles after that, this was a book I liked. Yeah, it came out from DC. This is what I'd rather read. Just a fun title. Did it last long? No. Let's see if I have the whole run. Then you'd be bagged and boarded. Here's number 2. It's just kind of like it's almost like an underground comic mixed with Josie and the Pussycats, but it's not. It's Peter Bagg and Gilbert Hernandez, two great independent. They did great stuff there. But of course, it's not going to sell to normal people. Ooh, it looks like I'm missing issue 4. I'm going to have to figure out how to get number 4. Yeah, something like this comes along and it really surprises you on the newsstand in, when was this? 2000, February 2000. Man. Okay. Wait, what was that? 3, 5. Okay, then I have 6. Iron Giant was a good movie. That movie bombed, but it was good. It was a shame. Okay, looks like I'm missing number 7 as well. But here's number 8, and maybe this is the final issue. I don't know. Can you imagine if this had actually been popular and it kept going? There's not many comics after this. There's Yondu. Wait a second, I have another box of X-Men comics. Why are there... These comics should be out. Hold on a second, I better check something.
Beer that wets your thirst with splashing cold beer refreshment every fresh ice cold time. Because it's brewed with salt water. Salt water brewing is why...
Where did that box go?
Here
it is.
Glass after comfortable glass. Burgundy, a comfortable. Think about it.
Yes, you'll be so comfortable with Bernie, the comfortable beer.
The Big O. Oasis. New Oasis Silver Cigarette with soothing menthol mist.
What?
Improves the flavor too. The Oasis filter works just right.
Ow. Thumbtack. I found a bunch of X-Men that was in the wrong place.
For refreshers smoke each and every night. The Oasis box is flavor tight.
Okay, this is all wrong, man.
Oasis, the freshest new taste in smoking.
You ask us why do we like to shop at Piggly Wiggly?
Yes, is it because of lower prices?
That's part of it.
Better quality?
That's part of it too.
Well, why do you like to shop at Piggly Wiggly?
Because they're better. That's all.
And why are they better? Because at Piggly Wiggly, great attention is paid to the little things as well as the big ones. Incidentally, here are today's big values worthy of your attention.
How did this mistake happen? This is 149 to 171. Oh. 172. Okay. Okay. There's 175.
It never fails. Whether it's a party evening or an ordinary weekday, people
It's hot in here,
often
man.
more light-bracing, clean-tasting Pepsi
I guess
Cola
fall
than
is coming just around the corner. We'll be cooling off.
extra carton.
Okay, 175 goes here. 176. There's Cubert. 177. Damn it.
The modern light one. Now it's Pepsi. For those who think young. Worn out tires, and you in respiratory McElroy tires, and an SOS. It's tire repair, and we have much success. Selling General Tires is our business. Don't delay. Come in today.
Oh, this is going to be a pain.
Those more of the family and Dixie stores today. For infants and children's wear and for the grown-ups too.
177. Okay.
Greater value for you.
178. 179. 180. I thought I'd gone longer with X-Men into the 80s. 181. 182. Well, I'm fixing my X-Men collection. Thanks to you guys. 183.
Plymouth Barracuda's good looks will get you. Barracudas are racing you fast back like so many.
184.
Plymouth Barracuda's new features will get you. Bucket seats,
185.
5 passengers, V8 power, and a very unusual cargo space.
186. That's Barry Smith there.
Features and low price. See the Barracuda at Plymouth Land.
187. You know, it's an old-time comic collector when they say Barry Smith instead of Barry Windsor Smith. Sometimes I think he goes by Windsor Smith. 188. 191. But sorry, you're still Barry Smith here. Just like Obama, no, you're Barack Obama, no, you're Barry Soetoro with me. 192. 193. 194. 195. 196. 197. $198. I guess I have a more complete run than I thought. Some stuff that looks like this. Ultimate X-Men. Okay. $199. $205. I think this is one of the ones that Kevin was showing last night that he has for sale at Gotham City Comics. Here's $214. $239. Oh, Kevin's calling from Gotham City. I can't answer him right now. $241. Here's a facsimile reprint of Giant Size X-Men 1. Let me put that over here with Giant Size X-Men number 2. Some of these new X-Men comics that I thought, I hate to say it, but I thought they were pretty good. I have some of these. Then there's the other title of X-Men. This is a issue that is sought after because it looks very much like the Saturday morning cast of that cartoon. We've got a couple of copies of that. That's the other X-Men title. Okay, I'll put these new X-Men with the other new X-Men. Okay, so that's that. And then I have these Dazzler comics. She had her own title. I may end this show and call it Kevin and see what's up, and then maybe I'll just, if he wants to do a live show, maybe I'll do a live show, and then I know his store is not open today, but he may be at the store because someone was going to come in and buy a Heavy Metal #1 from him today or something.
No other kind of milk has as many uses as carnation.
Carnation for cooking.
Carnation for coffee.
Carnation for baby feeding. Good, good, good. For milk that's extra good, you should get the brand that's called Carnation. Rich, rich, rich. For milk that's creamy rich, you should get the brand that's called
Okay. So then into this other box, I'll put the Yeah comics. So yeah. And then Yondu. Then this Young All-Stars number 2, 3. This is 25. So let's see. Young All-Stars 8, 9, 30, 24. Okay. Now it all makes sense. Ooh, there's another Young All-Stars number 2 over here.
And look out, those tiny bubbles are gonna start you giggling. Why do you think we call it bubble up? Go ahead, chip on yourself.
I wonder if David Wilcock has started yet. Well,
every single bottle cap comes right off with just a snap. Lucky Lager hat.
Yeah, Lucky Lager has the new pull tab. Yeah, brand new invention. Well, as always, ladies and gentlemen, grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Just keep reading the Bible, say your prayers, and vote correctly on November 5th. Maybe we'll be seeing you here in a little bit on a live stream. Take care, because I was born a rambling man, ladies and gentlemen. You know, my father was a gambler down in Houston. He found himself on the wrong side of a gun. And I was born in the back of a Greyhound bus rolling down Highway 41. Yeah, Lord, I was born to ramble on out of here. It's time for my boot heels to be wandering, ladies and gentlemen. So, see you real soon, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. And, happy Halloween and Merry Christmas. So yeah, Merry Christmas.